こんばんは、ミシェル・ヨーコ・リンです。
Good evening, everybody. My name is Michelle Yoko Lin.
ちょっと名前変なんですけど、日本生まれの日本育ちの日本人です。
My name doesn't sound like a typical Japanese name, but I am full Japanese, born and raised in Japan.
リンは主人が中国系なので、主人のラストネーム。
My last name, Lin, is obviously my husband's last name, and he is Chinese? Taiwanese. Sorry, Taiwanese.
でミシェルは、大学院の時に広東語のクラスを取ってて、でその時に先生に英語の名前をつけなさいっていうふうに言われて、で適当につけました。
And my first name, Michelle, came about when I was studying in graduate school. I was studying Cantonese, and my teacher said, look, you need to take an English name, so I randomly picked the name Michelle.
ミシェル・クワンが活躍してたので。
It was back when Michelle Kwan was still doing very well in figure skating.
それで
I liked her name.
全然使ってなかったんですけど、アメリカに来てスペイン語を話す人がヨーコって言えなくて、ジョーコとかなんかチョコとか言われてちょっと嫌だったので、あと主人の母が台湾人なんですけど、ヨーコやっぱり言えなくてユーゴって言うんですよ。だからもういいや、ミシェルで行こうかみたいな。
But I didn't really use the name very much until I came over to study in the States, and then I came to California, and I realized that Spanish-speaking people could not say the name Yoko. They either called me Joko or Choco or some other strange variation. And also, my husband's mother, being Taiwanese, could not pronounce the name either. She called me Yogo. So that's why I started using the name.
でじゃあ本題の方なんですけど、私は日本で生まれたんですけど、父方のおじいちゃんが共産主義を信じている人で、日本で育ちながら神社とかも行ったことがなかったし、家には仏壇もなかったし、七五三もなく、初詣もなくで、子供の頃ってみんなお守り持ってますよね。ああいうのも全然なく、そんな家庭環境で育ちました。
And I'd like to just start sharing my testimony. But as I said, I was born and raised in Japan. But my father actually believed that a communist system was the right way to go. So he didn't believe in any religions. And even though I was surrounded by Japanese people who would often go to shrines or temples and who would get the little charms and protections from those shrines, I was surrounded by people who would do things like that. I myself and my family never really participated in any of that.
で私が5歳の時に父親の仕事の関係で中国の北京に移ることになりました。
And when I was 5 years old, due to my father's work, it was decided that we would move as a family to China, to Beijing.
これは1980年の前半の話なので、まだその時は中国共産主義の絶頂期っていう感じで、しかも北京だったので、街の至る所に毛沢東の写真とかスターリンの写真とか飾ってあって、で私幼稚園だったんですけど、お遊戯の時間に歌とかもなんか毛沢東万歳とかそういう感じの、時代でした。
And this was in the early 1980s, so China was still very much a communist country, and so wherever I would go out in the streets, I would see like statues or pictures of Mao Zedong or Stalin, and there would be people basically like singing songs that were praising the communist system.
その時私まだ子供だったんですけど、子供心ながらになんかこれはちょっとおかしいなと思うと同時に、なんか神社に行くにしろ、その毛沢東にしろ、なんかどこかに神様みたいな人がいるんじゃないかなっていうことをぼんやり考えるようになりました。
And since I was only 5 years old, I didn't really understand fully what was going on around me, but I thought that it was a little bit strange, and it didn't feel quite right. But looking around at the people who surrounded me and how they were adoring Mao Zedong or Stalin, and also how the Japanese, before I moved to China, were going to the shrines, I began to gain this understanding that there was this existence that was a godlike existence somewhere in this universe.
それで、結局その答えが見つかるにはそれから10年以上も経ったんですけど、だったかな、1988年89年かな、天安門事件があって、でそれをきっかけにまた、家族は日本に戻ることになって、それからずっと日本で暮らすようになったんですけど、高校の時に、カトリックの信者の友達ができて、初めてカトリックの教会に行くようになりました。
And so I began to wonder who this God was and where he was, but I couldn't find the answer for another 10 years or so. And I stayed in China with my family until about 1989 when the Tiananmen Square incident, massacre, whatever you call it, happened. And at that point in time, my family decided that we should move back to Japan, so we did. So we moved back to Japan, and I kept going to school. And then once I got into high school, I made a friend who was a Catholic, and through her, I was able to go to Mass and learn about Christianity for the first time.
そうですね、ちょっと先にありがとうございます。それでその友達ができたので、そこから毎週ミサに通うようになったり、シスターたちがなんかバイブルスタディをしてくれたのでそれに行くようになったりして、でもともとどっかに神様がいることは分かってたので、初めてそのイエス・キリストの話を聞いた時も結構すんなり受け入れることができて、あ、そういうことだったのかみたいな感じで、すぐ結構受け入れました。
And so I began going to Mass with that friend, and the sisters who were at the church, the nuns, they invited me to Bible studies, and I began to go to those as well. And since I had had this idea that there must be a God somewhere in this universe since I was very little, when I first encountered this Christianity, I was able to just sort of accept it and say, oh, okay, I see, this is what everything was about. And so I was just able to really accept everything as truth pretty easily.
それで結構自分ではその充実した生活を送ってるつもりだったんですけど、今思ってみたらすごくなんか形式的なことが多くって、お祈りするにしてもロザリオを使って主のお祈りと、あと聖母マリアのお祈りを結構繰り返すだけで、他の個人的なお祈りみたいなのはなかったし、あとそのミサでも賛美歌を歌うのは結構なんかラテン語で歌ったり、あとは賛美歌、日本の賛美歌って結構文語体ですごい難しいので、なんか日本語でも何言ってるかちょっと分かんないのが結構多くて、なんか個人的にその神様との関係っていうのはもうほとんどありませんでした。
I had it going good there until the middle and I lost it. Okay. Yes, exactly. And so I was able to accept everything, and I really thought I was leading a pretty fulfilling life and had a good faith. But when I look back on it now, I realized that everything I was doing was fairly ritualistic, and there was no faith on a personal level. Even my prayers would be structured. Say I would use the Lord's Prayer or the Ave Maria, and I would just recite those words to pray. And I wouldn't really have any personal prayer requests going to God. Also, the hymns in Japanese are very old-fashioned and hard to understand, so I was really never able to get anything from singing the hymns as well. So I was never able to really have a personal faith during that time.
で信じる気持ちはあったんですけど、なかなかその信仰が育たなかったっていう感じで、高校時代はそれでも続いてたんですけど、大学に入るとなんか他にもいろいろやりたいことがあったり忙しくなったりして、だんだん教会にも行かなくなりました。
And so I was willing to believe, but I didn't really grow in my faith very much because everything was so rigid and ritualistic. But I was able to continue going to the Catholic Church throughout high school. But once I hit college, there were so many other things that I wanted to do that church kind of fell to the wayside and I stopped going.